Hello everyone, and once again welcome back to the Chem School. I hope you have enjoyed all my previous video on the Chem School. Today I'm going to start with a new topic, but before that I would like to request you to like, subscribe and share my videos, okay? And now the topic for the day is Sedgwick theory or effective atomic number theory from the chapter coordination compound, right? And I have covered all the basics for calculating, the EAN rule. That is, I have taught you how to calculate coordination number, how to calculate oxidation number, and if you have a doubt I will attach the link for the same, so do watch that out. So let's start the topic for the day. Now let's understand what is EAN rule. Now Sedgwick proposed this theory basically to explain how is a central metal atom stable in a coordination complex, right? And that is the reason he gave this formula, which is called as EAN formula, which is given by Z minus X plus Y, where you can see is Z is nothing but the atomic number of the central metal atom in the coordination complex. X is going to be the oxidation number that we have learned how to calculate. Y is going to be the number of electrons gained from the ligand. That is nothing but your coordination number into 2, you can say. Why? Because if coordination number of the central metal is 6, then how many electron it might have gained? It is going to be double. If bond is 6, then the electron is going to be double of it. So hence with this we come up with the definition of EAN, which is nothing but it is a total number of electron on the central metal, okay, including those transferred from the ligands. So I hope this is very simple and you can understand that. Again, once try to recollect the formula, which is EAN or effective atomic number rule is given by Z minus X plus Y. This is nothing, atomic number minus oxidation number plus number of electrons from your ligand. So this is very simple, okay? So let's start calculating. Let's start taking some example and calculating them to understand the concept in detail. Now before calculating the EAN, let's try to find out the oxidation number on Fe, okay? So now we know that K4 is 4 into plus 1 for potassium, okay? These are cations. Cn minus is your anionic ligand, so you will have a charge of 6 into minus 1, right? So now if you just subtract them, what you will get? You will get nothing but minus 2, and if it goes on the other side of the equal to, what you will get is plus 2, okay? And we have seen how to calculate that, right? If you want, I can show it once. So it is nothing but Fe charge is going to be equal to plus 2. How did we get that? It is plus 4 plus Fe, okay, minus 6 from here, okay, is equal to 0. The overall charge on the complex is nothing, okay, that is considered as 0. So now the charge on Fe is going to be minus 2 goes on that side, is going to be plus 2, okay? So the oxidation number of Fe is definitely plus 2. That is your X, okay? What is going to be your Y? Y is nothing but, you can see that you have 6 ligands, so the number of electron is going to be 12. So now we know almost everything. So let's calculate the EAN for this complex, okay? So we are calculating EAN for Fe. That is nothing but iron. You can also write, if you want, Fe plus 2, your choice, okay? So in this case what you will get is X, which is nothing but okay, first we will take the atomic number, okay, that is Z of Fe, and that is 26, all right, minus oxidation number, that is nothing but 2, okay, plus the number of electrons from the ligands. So you have 6 ligands, that is 6 coordinate bond, and the number of electron into 2. So what do you get? Okay, so if you just add and subtract all those things, what you're going to get is nothing but 36. Is this clear? So in Fe plus 2, the number of EAN is nothing but 36. What can you make out from this number? If you look carefully, you can see that now Fe has total 36 electrons across it, right? And what does that mean? Now it has almost achieved the configuration of the nearest gas, inert gas, and that is nothing but krypton. Okay, so now Fe has the electronic configuration of krypton, that is nothing but 36. And why is so? Because we know that inert gas is very stable. So Fe plus 2 is also trying to achieve the same stability. So EAN rule basically explains this, that they are trying to make a complex to attain some electrons, and how much electrons they want to achieve in the outermost shell, that is to the next inert gas. Okay, so in the Fe line, if you see, that is in the fourth period, the inert gas is nothing but krypton, right? So it is trying to achieve the inert gas of, like, inert gas configuration of krypton. Okay, so let's solve some more examples. Now here you can see a chart in which I have taken 4 complexes, of which we are going to calculate the EAN, that is effective atomic number. The complex is as follows. The second column is going to be for the metal. So the metal, that is nothing but your central metal. So here in the complex, the central metal is going to be nickel. In the next one, the central metal is going to be cobalt. Okay, the third one has central metal as zinc, and the fourth one has central metal as platinum. I have already written the atomic number of this central metal. Okay, so you don't need to worry about that. The next thing that you need to calculate is nothing but the oxidation number, and find out how many electrons are coming from your ligands. Okay, and then we can calculate the effective atomic number very easily, because what you have to do, you have to subtract them and just add this. Okay, so this is going to be very simple. So let's start. In the first case, if you see, it is nickel tetracarbonyl. So in this case, carbonyl is a neutral ligand. So for neutral ligand, okay, if you have a square bracket, so whatever you have a charge, if it is a neutral ligand, that will be the charge of your central metal atom. So in this case, you can see there is nothing about that. There's no square bracket. It means we will consider the charge of nickel as 0, because carbon monoxide does not have any charge. So here the charge on the metal is nothing but 0. In the next case, again, this is ammonia. So ammonia is also a neutral ligand, right? So the charge of ammonia is going to be 0. So the overall charge is going to be the charge of your metal. So the charge plus 3 goes to your metal. So the oxidation state of cobalt is going to be plus 3. Okay. Next one is water. Water is again a neutral ligand. So it will have no charge. So the charge on zinc is going to be plus 2. The last one, we know that ammonia is a neutral ligand from here. Okay, so now we can straight away say that the platinum has a charge of plus 4. So see how easy it was, isn't it? Right? So the next one, let's talk about the number of electrons given by the ligands. So you can see that carbon monoxide, how many carbon monoxide do you have? 4. And it is a monodentate ligand. Monodentate, it means it will donate only 1 pair of electron, right? So if you have 4 carbon monoxide, how many pairs will come? Okay, 8. Okay, each carbon monoxide will donate 1 pair. So 4 carbon monoxide will donate 8, total 8 electrons. Right? Next one. Here, ammonia is again a monodentate ligand. So you have 6 directly multiplied by 12. Sorry, 6 multiplied by 2. So you have electron, which is nothing but 12. Next, water is again a monodentate ligand. So 4 into 2, you will have 8 electrons. Next, ammonia, we said that it is a monodentate ligand. So again, ammonia, total number of electrons that it is donating to platinum. I repeat, total number of electrons donated by ammonia to platinum is going to be number of coordinate bond into 2. So you have 6 coordinate bond into 2, that is 12. I have explained you once again if you have any doubt. Okay, now the calculation is going to be very simple. 28 plus 8, that is going to be 36. So the next complex, cobalt, have a look. So it is 27, subtract, that is 3. So you will get 24, then plus 12, you will get 36. Don't forget that you have to subtract oxidation number. So again, 30 minus 2, that is going to be 28. Again, plus 6, that is going to be 36. Is that clear? Okay. So the last one, now you can calculate, just subtract this and add that up. So what you will get is 86. Now, if you notice this carefully, what you can make out is, again, nickel, cobalt and zinc are trying to achieve the nearest gas configuration, nearest inert gas configuration of nothing but krypton. Okay. So if you see 36, 36, 36 is inert gas configuration of krypton. Similarly, if you talk about 86, this belongs to radon. Okay. So radon has 86 electrons in its in its total 86 electrons. So this is what you need to remember. Okay. So platinum is achieving stability by achieving the nearest gas configuration of radon. So you can see that EAN, all it wants to say is that most of the complexes are been formed just to achieve stability, okay, just to have total number of electrons which is equivalent to the nearest inert gas. But this is not always true, right? Chemistry is all about exceptions, so do remember that there are some exception to this, like not all central metal atom have the gas configurations, okay. So let's talk about some examples on that as well. Now have a look at these examples. Now you can see again three complexes, that is of iron, copper and platinum, okay. So I have already written everything, that is I have written the atomic number for each of them. For iron 26, copper 29, platinum 78, okay. Now what you have to do as a homework is you have to find out how did you get this oxidation number. You already know all the concept. I'm attaching the link for the oxidation number calculation as well, okay. You know how to find out the number of coordinate bond, so into 2 will give you this, okay. That is nothing but y, okay. So I'll just write down that if you have a doubt. So y is nothing but 2 into coordination number. Is that clear? Fine. So you have the coordination number, and what you have to do is z minus x plus y, you will get the EAN. What we need to focus now is, you can see that Fe, the nearest inert gas or the next inert gas, is having atomic number of 36, but over here the EAN is 35, okay. So it haven't achieved the inert gas configuration, but still it is quite a stable complex, okay. Similarly, copper is having EAN of 35, okay. Platinum we saw right now it should be 86, but right now it is having EAN of 84. So these are some exceptions, but these complexes are stable, not as stable as the previous one, but they are quite stable. Is that clear? So remember that there can be exception, that EAN rule will not have the next inert gas configurations. Is this clear? I hope EAN was very easy. Try to get this EAN from the calculations. That was all for the day. I hope you enjoyed the video. See you soon in the next class.